The fight against the COVID-19 outbreak is well into its second month. One question lingers. Is there a viable cure? Well, there are two ways to combat viruses, with drugs and with vaccines. Let's look at the latter first. The vaccine industry has been dominated by pharmaceutical giants, among them Johnson & Johnson. The company is donating 1 million masks and 200,000 pieces of protective gear to hospitals in affected areas. This comes after its announcement in January that it's developing a vaccine candidate for the new virus.
These are the same technologies we used in the development and the manufacturing of our preliminary Ebola vaccine. It is a process that requires very high technology and production capabilities.
Vaccine development is immensely challenging for two reasons. One, viruses mutate easily. Because the generic material for coronavirus is RNA, which exists in a single strand, unlike the more stable DNA, which is double-stranded. That means it's more likely to be broken and remixed, possibly rendering a vaccine obsolete.
This might happen with a new virus as well, and maybe it has been happening already. So one has to look at the evolution of the RNA genome of the new virus constantly with new sample.
Reason number two. Vaccine development is a long, tedious process which usually involves rounds of animal tests and 3 phases of clinical trials. In some cases, this can take several years. In 2004, more than a year after the SARS outbreak, China's SARS vaccine only finished its phase 1 clinical trial. That suspended its development since researchers didn't have new patients to continue with the tests. This time, huge resources are being utilized by agencies and companies to hopefully find a vaccine fast. But what's also promising for the immediate future is a drug. Among a dozen candidates, one drug has garnered considerable attention: remdesivir. Initially developed as a treatment for Ebola by American firm Gilead, it was said to have positive effects on the first US case of a COVID-19 infected patient.
Now, of course, the new coronavirus is very different from Ebola, but all these RNA viruses have an RNA polymerase, which is quite similar.
But is that proof that remdesivir will work? No. But we might be closer to knowing it than a vaccine, since it is a pre-established drug now in phase 3 of a 4-phase trial. Several health experts and Chinese officials have said that its effects in experiments have been positive. And it has prompted many to ask, can we skip the clinical trials? The answer is no. Chinese law does allow for a decision to skip clinical trials for certain drugs during a public health emergency, but that cannot be applied to remdesivir, since it is not a licensed or approved drug anywhere in the world at the present time. So now, eyes are on April the 27th, when the results of the phase 3 trial are due out. Finding a safe, effective drug in the shortest possible time has been a paradox in and of itself. But since public health safety is the absolute priority, it is better late than never. Yang Chengxi, CGTN, Shanghai.